Hey, hi everyone. I'm Geoff Moller from geoffmoller.com, and I'm here today with Peter Montgomery from the Peter Montgomery Show. I've got some questions I really want to ask Peter about where he started and what he's doing with people now, and how he's helping to add or enhance people's businesses. So I've got Peter on the line. Hi, Peter.
Hey, how you going, Jeff? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it all looks fantastic. I've been looking forward to this for a while now, and I've seen a lot of your work, and I've been very impressed with some of the guests you've been interviewing and how you ask the questions. But I really wanted to know about you
Okay.
because you've been doing this for a little while now, and you've had quite a bit of success talking with both people across Australia and also internationally as well. And I know you're working. You've got a distinct look now, and I love your outfit and the way you approach things. And I saw your interview with what was he a speaker trainer recently.
Yep, that would be Sean Clark.
Yes,
Yep.
that's right. You happened to be on site, and you took the advantage of that, and that came up really well.
Yeah.
So I want to ask you about you. So tell me about Peter Montgomery, and where you are now. But also, I want to find out where you started and what inspired you to do what you're doing.
Okay. So first of all, right now I'm working with speakers, entrepreneurs, and authors who really want to, market and promote themselves in a unique, kind of creative way, but like really engaging and kind of really to be also that they want to come out in a really transparent way because the world it's all about connection now in business. It's all about connection. People really want to know who they're working with behind the logos and the websites. So yeah, it really through my show and interviewing people, I'm really working to just bring that out so people can connect with the heart of their business and the heart and soul of their business, and really just kind of figure out that person that they're listening to right there is someone that they now know, they like them, they trust them, and they kind of believe now that that's the person that could help them solve their immediate problem, which is why they're watching that video in the first place. So that's who I'm working with, and that's who I'm helping. But to go back to how I started, I don't want to sort of waffle on too long, but I've always kind of been entrepreneurial. My first business was when I was 7 years old. My brother and sister used to borrow money off me. They were teenagers, and I'd charge them interest.
It sounds familiar. Oh, except I never charge interest.
Yeah, I charged them interest. I made them. Yeah, it was my money, and yeah. Anyway, so that's kind of my first fun little business, but it wasn't really a business. I was just doing it. But then later on, over the years, like I was playing in bands and that kind of thing. So that was my first way to kind of get out of the treadmill of employment and working was to we're going to rock the world and our band's going to be big and we won't have to work a job and we'll be able to do something we love. So I've always had that. So that was like handing out flyers on the street, target market. Oh, you've got a metal shirt on. Oh, you're into metal. Come to this gig, and that was we learned a lot about promotion and filling rooms and getting kids there and putting on a show and all that sort of stuff. So it really started there. Then, real life happens. I end up that I'm working at Xerox as a technician. So I was there for probably about 5 to 7 years, contracting for about a year and a half with another company to Xerox, became a technician. Then after that, I kind of realized, look, no, this isn't the life for me. I'm kind of living two lives. Yeah, I have my home life and my work life, and I'm two divided personalities in that. And it just never sat right with me that whole life. So from there, a friend of mine who got me that gig in the first place to help me get my foot in the door, he started a business selling ex-lease Xerox machines. So most people that go into business do what they know. So I left Xerox and started my first business servicing the machines that he sold. So, and with his guidance over 3 years, I had a good level of success. I was kind of in control of my time and could organize my work around my personal life, and it really sat better with me. So then 3 years of success, not rip-roaring success, but I lived the life that I enjoyed, didn't think much about building an empire. And then after 3 years, I kind of figured, look, I only get paid if I'm out on site working, and I don't get paid unless I'm doing that. So I don't have holiday pay, I don't have anything unless I save it up first. And that got me thinking, okay, well, there's got to be a better way to kind of have an income and live the life I want, but really do it on my terms. And also, all my customers were in Sydney. And so if I left Sydney at any point, I had to start something again further down the track. So that I turned to the internet, basically, and then went down every rabbit hole that there is. Internet marketing, affiliate marketing, network marketing, video, blogging, you name it, I've kind of done it. I've been on all them wild, wacky launches and bought tons of stuff, spent about 20 grand, just uncovering the secrets of how the internet works, what it's all about. And so that gets me 6 years of working at Xerox, or my own Xerox repair business. So 3-year crossover period. The economy went down. My Xerox business kind of dissolved, a natural death sort of thing. Nothing internet had particularly taken off because I was doing 5,000 things and none of them specifically particularly well, but I knew all the stuff. And then everything came crashing down and I had to go and get a labouring job at a fish market just to pay the bills. So that was for about a month and a half. That was December last year. From that point on, at that point I just went, look, in a depressed state, utterly depressed and defeated. I went, what am I going to do? And I thought, well, look, what have I learnt over 6 years of trying stuff and being in business, in real business, in pretend business, in internet business and social media and all the things that are happening? What are the key lessons that I've learnt? And I just backtracked and just said, what worked? What didn't work? Why did it work or not work? What do I love to do? Pick one thing and just do that very well. And that was the nucleus, is that the word? The beginning of the Peter Montgomery Show. So I started interviewing experts. How did you become successful? Because I want to do it too. How did you do it? And I started sharing those interviews online, and it evolved into the Peter Montgomery Show that it is today.
Fantastic. Look, I really appreciate you sharing that. And I quite like the look and the way you've gone with that. And I watch your interviews as well, because I learn things from the people you talk to. So as you're learning, I'm learning as well. I think it's fantastic. And I think none of us know everything. So it's really great to get different perspectives and different thoughts and different ideas about how to achieve a certain thing and how people approach it and how they build their businesses up. So what you've done, what you're doing, I really like. So when you began to do this, what was the spark that made you think, well, I'll do this. I'll do the Peter Montgomery Show.
Okay.
What created that spark in you for that?
Well, that spark, before I started at Xerox, I was actually selling mobile phones for Optus inside a little 2 meter by 2 meter Kmart booth.
Oh, yes.
And whenever I came across, and I was signing, and I always had to find out what people did for a living when they're signing up for the contract. And so whenever I found someone who said, oh, I'm self-employed, or I work from my garage, or I do I was like, how do you do that? Yeah. How did you do that? So I've always just been interested in people that have figured out a way to do their own thing. And so it's a natural thing for me I'm just naturally curious about what they do. Even if I don't care what they do, it's not what they do, it's the fact that they're passionate about something and they're so into something and it's working for them. If you're into something, I'm into you. That's it. I don't really care what it is, but you're so focused on that thing that inspires me. So that's when I looked over all the internet stuff that I'd done over that 3 to 4 year period. I really searched for the one thing that I could do that I would be happy to do even if I wasn't getting paid. And even further, look, what would I actually pay money to do? What have I been spending money on over the last 3 years to learn all this stuff? And I thought, well, I would actually pay money to hang out with successful business people and business coaches and all those people. I thought, well, I actually know a way to do that for free because I've actually interviewed a few of the people that I kind of probably did about 2 or 3 interviews before I came up with the concept. Anyway, I thought that I had a great time doing that, and I've got the technical skills now to kind of piece it all together and make it work and have other people get that information from me. Yeah. So that was it. I just love finding out about people's passions and what makes them tick, and actually finding out what makes that thing work for them. So even I don't think everyone's into every episode and every type of business that I have on my show, but for the one person that I'm interviewing about their one thing, they're intensely interested, and their friends and their people that are interested in them are intensely interested in them, and so that's who it's for. So each interview is for the person I'm interviewing and kind of their audience, not really like my audience sort of thing.
So in some ways, it sounds like you found your passion as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I found it and I followed it, and I just had I've always thought kind of like, when you're really into something, you'll do it really well. Yes. So if you just love to do it, you'll end up so well that people might end up paying you someday. And also the whole networking philosophy, we can get into that later. Like I got a few books I wanted to share that really are the backbone of how I set up what I've set up as well. So we'll get into that a bit later.
I noticed that because I work as a business advisor with a lot of people and specialise in intellectual property and trademarks. But I've noticed over time that although you can have a passion, sometimes it doesn't work out as a business. And so turning a passion into or having a business model around a passion that actually makes money is not as easy as it seems. So so it sounds like you're sort of on your way that way, but like you said, sometimes we all have passions that we love to do, but not always make money until it gets to a certain stage.
Yeah. Well, actually, I was reading something recently of Seth Godin, one of his blog posts, and he mentions that. He says, just because it's your passion and you're passionate about it, the moment you try and turn a buck with it, you might destroy what you've set up. That's really awesome.
Yeah.
So generally, the idea is to find something you're passionate about that lends itself to being able to turn into money.
Yes.
So that's why I focused on business and marketing people, because that's what I'm interested in.
Yeah.
But also, there won't be a thing of, now he's trying to charge us for it, because they're all trying to make a buck. They're all trying to figure something out. So it lends itself to be able to charge for certain things.
Yes. You have managed to talk to some really interesting people. How do you find them, and how do you approach them, or say, how do you talk them into talking on your show?
Okay, that's a good question. I stumbled across things. Here's what I do. I'm really good at noticing when things work now.
Yeah.
Because I've had things that didn't work at all. And so I've got really good at noticing what the connection between one thing and another thing is. So, I noticed we're both in the Entrepreneurs group. And when that first started up and I was first put in it, I was like, why am I here? Because, an invite is really, you're in the group. And then whenever people started posting there, it kept coming up as the little red mark on the top of Facebook saying there's a message. And every time I went there, it was annoying at first. And I was like, I wanted to leave the group. Then I thought, no, this is really interesting. Every time someone speaks, I get notified. There's 1,000 people in that group. Wow, every time I put a message out there or something on that wall, people are going to see it. But if you're spammy and stupid, they're going to ignore it. So, the idea is to add value. So little things like that, I started noticing things happening.
Yeah.
And what I noticed too, how I started interviewing, my first interview before it was even a show, I just thought, I'll just do this thing. I interviewed Jeff Slater from Jeff and Kane. I was at the event, and he was mentioning, you should interview experts if you want to kind of position yourself that way. So at that event where I met him, I said, well, how about I interview you? You talk about that. Can I do you? And he said, yes. And then, months later, we kind of worked out our schedule so we could do the interview, because he had to go over to the States and do some stuff. And we finally made it happen. And I went, wow, that was really cool. It turned out really good. It's my first one. I look at it now and I'm very self-conscious, and I'm looking at my notes and I'm trying to pretend like I'm not looking at notes. And I've lost all that silliness now since then. But it worked. And he kind of helped me before and after to kind of figure out, hey, this is a cool thing and how to make it work. And then I thought, you know what, I'm going to do this again. And then who can I interview? And then I thought, well, at their event, they were promoting how they can help you with a Facebook page.
Yeah.
And the poster child for their Facebook thing that they'd set up was Roscoe Patterson.
Oh, yes.
So they were showing look what we've done for this guy. And I thought, well, you know what? I'm going to interview that guy, because he's connected to him and these people are connected to them. And, there's the connection thing again. Yes. And then I went, wow, that was cool. That worked out good. Because so the way that I asked Roscoe was say, how would you be open to doing an interview, just like I've done with Jeff Slater?
Yeah.
So the connection between them became my connection that I could leverage to say, hey, I've done one with this guy. And what that's saying is, well, if Jeff's done it with Pete, Pete must be all right.
Yes.
So Roscoe messaged me back straight away with his phone numbers. Yeah, let's talk. It sounds like a match. I went, aha, that's it. So then I went, who else was on that video that they showed in that room? And then it was Travis Bell. And then I thought, look, this is it. I'm going to interview the rising stars of their training system. So everyone that's kind of made something happen from it, I'll start there. So I went down that line, and through one after the other, I noticed other people that they were connected to, and it sort of branched out away from just the rising stars of that system, but that was the beginning stage. So that's my niche that I started with. It's probably not my niche exactly right now anymore, but you got to begin somewhere, and that's how I started.
Well,
and then, so now that's it. I guess the idea is the connection. Look for connection between one thing and another, one person and another. If you get the first one or two, you're on your way. The first one or two are the hardest to kind of start, but then you just find out who are they connected to and branch out from there.
Your interviewing of people, and I really appreciate you sharing what you've just done, because that's a great background. To the next question is from when you talk to people, how do you find your interviewing them has helped them? So people want to be interviewed for various reasons, and you're doing a really great job, and you've got a good technical setup. I've noticed as well, and we've spoken about that before.
Yep.
But how do people benefit from you interviewing them? Because that's really important to know.
Okay. There's so much great stuff that happens that people don't even realize, but it's kind of almost on a subconscious level, most of it, when you're doing an interview. So some of the stuff that they get, the benefit is that anyone that's watching that interview instantly already, even if they've never met anyone that's in this show. So like if someone's watching this right now, they might not have met you, they might not have met me, but we're sitting here with a bit of a fancy setup, and you've got some foam in the background, and it looks like a show. It's like instantly there's that credibility of, wow, if this Geoff guy is interested in this guy and he's going to interview him on a show, and it looks all professional, they must be all right. They must be onto something here. They must be credible. So instantly, just from the appearance of everything, it looks credible. The other thing is,
I have a fancy looking mic.
Well, you've got a fancy mic, but you've also got a pop filter.
Yes.
So that's even more full on. But what happens also is, once you open your mouth, you've got to have something to say that's relevant and mean something. So as soon as you open your mouth, you'll be shown up, or they'll get something out of it. That's just kind of that credibility. So when you put that on your video, on your website or wherever you can now use that, it's just like another little credibility point. So when people are searching for someone's name, for example, when I type in Geoff Slater, when someone types in Geoff Slater interview or something because they've seen an ad or they've received an email to go to their event, well, they're going to start searching for someone for information or videos or something to see what they're in for at the event. I do the same. And so when you find interviews, you get to learn about them, and you get to get that credibility across. They get to tell their story, and basically you just get to feel their intention is really what comes through. So your intention actually comes through when you're interviewed as well. People, you can't hide when you're on video.
That's a great response.
You can't hide because it's all up front. And that's the idea. That's why I love it so much, because there's so much shonky stuff going on out there. And I want to shine the spotlight on the good guys. And so I want to draw out their true intention. And so that's just kind of the subconscious stuff that kind of happens. And people instantly position that person in their mind. So you can talk all you want about positioning, and this is my position, and I hold this position. But the only position that counts is the one that's in the person's mind who's watching the interview. So the positioning really happens in other people's minds. So you want to really close the gap between what you say your position is and what your position actually is in their mind. And the interview really does that for people. The other thing is the way I now do interviews, which is different to when I started. I did more kind of teaching interviews, more internet marketing, give us some tips, the top 10 tips on how to do this or that, so people can watch it kind of like a how-to with a pen and paper in hand and learn some stuff. It's kind of evolved now into the money-making side of how I do interviews as well. Is my intention is to help them sell more of their stuff. So I figured out they're good, they're valuable, they've got something great to offer, and I want to help them sell more of it, because when someone buys their stuff, they're going to be able to have value in their business now. They're going to be able to do something now that they couldn't do before that's going to help their business, and so on and so on it goes. So I make sure people that are on my show have good stuff to sell. And now I'm sort of offer up a spot on my show. It costs money now to be on my show for certain people. So for others, it's, if I'm going to interview Donald Trump, I'm not going to say, it's going to cost you this much to come on my show, Don. He's going to bring way more value than I could charge for, to my show. So everyone has to bring value in some form, whether it's, value that I think is valuable that helps me enhance what I do, or if it's monetary value that brings a bit of value to me so I can now keep doing what I do and do it better. And so I've figured out a criteria that fits in that. But ultimately, my interviews follow a sales funnel format. So it's like, when I'm doing an interview, it's like what you would write in a sales letter. It's like what you would write on your promotional sales video. It follows the same kind of format. And so, it's kind of like, the attention, interest, desire, call to action type thing. But through my questioning, because I know about business and marketing and stuff, I kind of really want to dig in deep and pull out what they've got, all their good stuff, so that the people can really go, wow, this person's the one for me to help me. So that's my intention, is to help them make more sales.
So you've worked out a successful structure or framework that helps not only you but also helps the people you interview to even higher levels of success, basically.
Yeah. Well, and the whole thing is it's evolved naturally, but it's evolved deliberately to become that. Through when I first set it up, like I wanted to, we'll share some books with you later that are kind of the backbone of how I do things and why I do what I do, the way I do it. Ultimately, I want everyone to have value. So I want to get value. Everyone wants their own value. So like the selfish thing, I have my own selfish reasons why I have certain people on. That helps me and helps the show and helps enhance everything I do. But because I do that, then anyone else that comes on the show is going to be enhanced by the presence of that person being on my show as well at some point. So you get to leverage off the names of some big names who I've got on the show. You're up in that same stable now. That's kind of the leverage point. So I got my value. They've got their value. They get to make more sales. But the viewer gets to learn about the person that they may be handing over a whole stack of money to, or they get to learn how to do some things they might not have known how to do before. So everyone has to get value. So it's a win-win-win all-round situation.
You also sound like you're learning all the time. And from what I've gleaned so far, you've got an enormous amount of knowledge now in what you do, and you're passionate about interviewing people as well. So you mentioned before about some of the books that you like and you'd like to share. So maybe we can talk about those now. Which books have really helped you or inspired you further?
Just hold on a second. I'll just grab them off the shelf.
Okay.
So I'll just keep talking. But some key ones. Seth Godin is a big one for me. Okay, so Seth Godin.
This is the invisible Peter Montgomery, by the way. Mister.
This is the beginning of it.
He's not really shy, but he'll be back in a minute.
Yeah, here we go. Here's a few. There a lot of them are Seth Godin books. There are some others as well. You know what I mean? Like, I read all the time, and I watch. Yeah. I read blogs and I watch videos, and I'm constantly learning. But what I've learnt about learning is now, because I've got my direction, I've got something that I'm doing, I learn about things that are going to help me do my thing better, rather than just randomly learning a whole bunch of information for whatever reason. So I think, how can this help me do what I do better? So one of the first books that the philosophies, I don't know if you've heard of this one, The Go-Giver.
No, I haven't come across that one yet.
This one is great. Bob Burg and John David Mann. And it's about the philosophy of giving first in business, in relationships, in networking. Very key to how I do what I do, to make sure everyone kind of gets value and you give first. And that's an absolutely awesome book. I love that one. It's only thin. It's only, I don't know how many pages. It's only like 130, 129 pages. That you could probably read it in one or two sittings, but that one's really key. And this one's, you're getting a bit more deliberate in your approach for things. This is Seth Godin, Permission Marketing, which is just an older one now. This one's probably like 2000 and 2001 or something. But it's the philosophy, opt in. You opt into the website and you give permission to now receive emails and information, and about how that works. So, opt into your website and give a free gift, all that sort of stuff. So this one really talks about the value of permission. So earning attention rather than spamming and broadcasting and yelling. It's about earning the attention, which an interview show does that for you, because, now you're going to publish this out there online, and people that are interested in you, I might get one or two of them interested in me, and then they might opt in, and then they can receive whatever else I do, and we're working together to create those situations for everyone. So Permission Marketing was a big one, and that's still a very current book, isn't it? And really, it's still exactly the same today. So marketing principles don't really change a lot, but all our technologies and our platforms do. And Seth Godin is really a great writer and a great speaker, and I love following his work as well. Absolutely. It's all the same. It's just relating to humans. It's communication. It's connection. It's all about that connection that you have and how you do that. And Seth Godin's the man for that sort of stuff. So there's another Seth Godin one, Unleashing the Idea Virus. And so this one, I don't know if you've read that one. This one really, like how at the moment it's Gangnam Style, like that's gone absolutely crazy viral. Well, most of the stuff that we do, that's not going to get anywhere near that kind of level of viral sort of nature in the world, whatever. But, you can sort of orchestrate certain situations. So for me, the way that I would implement the ideas in this book is I do an interview with Geoff, or I might say I might get Geoff on the show, do an interview with Geoff. We both share it with our communities. So you put it on your Facebook, I put it on my Facebook, I might send it out to my list. Yeah. The viral nature of interviewing and interview videos is that you're going to share my work. And then people that are interested in that might even share it a bit further. This is sort of talking more about making that sort of have the perpetual sharing thing happen. But at least at its core, we're both going to share this and other people are going to share it too. So yes. Those ideas. Linchpin, what can you say about this one? This one's ultimately, I guess, it's just about caring about what you do. Yes. And leadership, and you can be in a workplace and still be kind of entrepreneurial and giving your best work. Not, so that's the thing I was talking about. The whole thing about when I was working at jobs, working at Xerox. It's two different lives. You're separate. Like I get my work life and my home life. This is kind of about bringing your home personality to the workplace, who you really are. And that's actually what people want these days in life, is someone to be different. The way it works now, what used to be the whole mass marketing, what Seth always talks about is the idea of mass. That doesn't work anymore, because now the internet is creating silos of interest. We're all little pockets of interest. So my audience, most of the people I know, or not now, but used to, most of my real friends in life and people I know would not have heard of Seth Godin, but he's massively famous and huge in our world. So it's a silo of interest. He's famous, but if you walk down the street here, no one would recognize him.
That's a great observation. Yeah, I've listened to him on audio. That Linchpin, it's great. It's a great read.
Yes, and finally, this one here, tribes, building your audience and sort of offering value and building a little tribe around yourself. And it's kind of like a band. I actually learned this from Geoff in my first interview I did with him. A band gets famous in its local area first. So you start doing gigs around. I really like that analogy because I come from the band world, and I look back on what we did, and I was like, exactly. Tribes tells us all about, if you kind of use it this way, like I use it to observe what worked. And what worked when we were doing bands is you set up in a local hall. You go around to find all the kids in heavy metal shirts, and you go, there's a heavy metal gig on at the hall up here on the date. Tell your friends, stick that on your fridge. Then they go tell their friends. They build a tribe. Everyone turns up on the day, pays their $5. You've got your T-shirts and CDs ready for sale and drinks and whatever, and you put on this event. And it's about building your tribe, and it starts there. Then you might be able to take that event to the next town, and then, playing in the city. And then you get big in the city and you start playing in Melbourne and all these other places. Before you know it, if you keep working at it, building your tribe naturally, organically, like that way, you become big in Australia, then you become bigger internationally because you've now got this base that's kind of shared. Now online, it's crazy. Like how bands operate now. I wish we had Facebook back then, but we had to do it sort of on the ground. But it's a good grounding anyway. That's Tribes, which teaches you kind of how to build your audience, and it's that thing: earn the attention that you get, and then honor the people that you get that attention from by delivering good content or whatever your thing happens to be. There's more books and more stuff, but I mean, there's not enough time.
I think what you've shared just there has a lot of enormous business value in it, and just some of the basic business strategies about what you've just discussed out of those books you've shown is fantastic. Thank you very much. It's great. They're good strategies for any business. And
I think the key there is implementing them into something. See, that without action, all of those ideas are useless. So yes. I think that's the thing is I just got busy. At the start of last year, I went, okay, what am I going to do? Pieced it together, had the concept, had the idea or the beginning of it, had the skills. I'd learnt all the stuff. Now anything new that I take on, new information, is how can this help me do that better? Anything else that doesn't help me do that better, it's just good background knowledge. I don't try and implement everything I know now, which is I think was my big problem. When I had the downfall at the end of last year, I was trying to be and do everything that I've learnt, and you can't be. So you just got to sort of select the thing and then use the knowledge that helps that thing work.
Now, I'm probably going to run out of time here, so I just want to ask you, as we begin to wind up, about what you do and how you can help people even further with your interviews. I mean, what you've shared today is fantastic, and you've got some great business principles, and I really think you've brought together some wonderful opportunities for people, and with the mindset, your mindset's great. I love the way you're approaching things now, and you're beginning to recognise, or are recognising, how what you do can help other people and really add value to what they're doing as well. And I imagine I'll see the Peter Montgomery Show become very, very famous in not too distant future.
I kind of say, people ask me, so where are you trying to take the show? It's like, I kind of say, I want to be the Oprah of business.
Yes, why not? Excellent.
So I guess if people want to take advantage of what I do, like how the show works, like now, generally I have this idea. Certain people I engage to come on the show and do interviews. I say, hey, can you come on the interview? Can I interview you on my show? Because for me, there's something valuable about what you do that I want to bring to the table and share with people and help you get exposure. For the people that I invite and say, hey, come on, that's for my own value. They're already giving me the value just by saying yes. So, I don't charge those. For people that kind of engage me, who I don't know, that are kind of outside of my immediate circle, they can still have a chance to come on. But at that point, I don't know you. I don't know, have you got a big list? And, what are you going to do with the interview? How's it going to benefit me in the online out there world? Is it going to bring me subscribers? I don't know. So for those people, I charge a fee to come on the show. Now, it's kind of like, if you're a guest speaker at a speaking event, they get the last 90-minute spot to sell their stuff. Generally, how that works is you sell whatever you sell, you give 50% to the guys that put on the whole show. So they put on a 2-day event, you get a 90-minute spot. Whatever you sell, the promoter gets half, kind of thing. So it's kind of like that deal. So everyone wins. You get a chance to be in front of an audience and tell your story, and then you charge them whatever a fee. So the way I do it is I charge a one-off fee, and generally it's based on, if you make 1 or 2 sales from the interview, you've covered your costs, and whatever you make after that is cream, and just go for it. Like, I'm not sort of out for royalties or to get commissions ongoing or anything like that. So if you go off and make $100,000, great. But it's just a one-off fee at the start. So for example, I had Thor Sales Warlord come on, and within 2 weeks of our interview, he did the right thing and shared it like crazy. Some people come on, the free ones, generally, here's the thing, the ones that come on for free, that was nice, did an interview, whatever, they leave it. Thor went, I'm going to use this interview, and was kind of the beginning of me selling episodes. We worked on the idea together of, now sell your episodes, because I'm going to use this to go make money. And so he kind of helped me craft the concept that follow the sales format, and then we use this to go and sell stuff. So he ended up putting it all over Facebook, day after day, week after week, and within the first 2 weeks, he made $12,000. So he made some sales, and would have more have covered the cost of actually getting the thing. But he put the interview to work. So what people get the concept around the other way is they want to come on and have exposure to my audience. My audience is kind of a bit sort of segmented. The way that I say is flip that on its head and say, look, you take this interview now and use it almost like a webinar to put in front of people who might be a match for your business. So you go and put the interview to work for you. So by the time someone comes through that interview, if they follow it right through to the end, and then they get in contact with you, that person is primed and ready to buy whatever you've got because they like you, they know you, they trust you, they reckon you can help them, and they're contacting you to buy something. The ones that drop off at the start weren't your customer. So that's kind of how it works. So you can come on and do that. I do other things as well, where I did a 10 interview series with a guy called Zaki Amir, who's a property investor. And he teaches people how to invest in a specific type of property. Well, he engaged me and said, look, he was the first one that started off the idea. He said, look, I want to pay you, and I want to do in 10 interviews with these questions that I want answered, because he now uses them to promote himself. That's what he puts up on his Facebook wall, to answer a specific question that he wants, because he wants the positioning of an interview to tell his story rather than just talking to a camera. So it gives that element of credibility. So that's a product that I offer. That, we can do a 5-part interview series or a 10-part interview series. Another thing is too, I could interview your customers to do an interview style testimonial for you. So if you got 5 customers, look, we can put together a thing, say, I'll put that together. So it's like your customers are being interviewed, because they're always awkward when they're trying to talk. It's kind of, they're not used to talking to a camera. So the interview situation puts them at ease. It really helps them, guide them, so they can tell their story in a comfortable way. And when they're comfortable, the people listening feel comfortable, and then they feel comfortable about your business. So they're 3 products that I do: interviewing your customers, interviewing you to create promotional content, or an episode on the show.
They sound like great value to me. I mean, I noticed that as the paradigms of business and marketing begin to shift, what you're offering, I think, is great value, because it can be different from what people are doing now, and it can break through and offer that the personality behind the product and the person that people just don't see from a brochure or a website. So I think what you're doing is fantastic.
Another cool, actually, I had a meeting with a guy the other week. I got to get back to him. This was before Christmas, so I'm getting back to him on the 15th. He's an insurance broker, and he's interested. We sat down and we talked about a bunch of things. He's interested in a different thing. He actually come up with the idea himself, or he sort of suggested, he wants to create, those real estate guys use it. They say, meet the team. And then they have a little blurb, like walks on the beach and, moonlit dinners and whatever. Right? They're trying to get their personality out, but it's just a photo with that little blurb. Well, he said, he wants to do something interesting there. And so I suggest, well, how about I interview your staff?
Yes.
And through that interview, it's way more engaging. So then on his Meet the Team page are short interviews with his team where you really get to the personality. We craft the questions to cater to whatever it is he wants to get across about his business, the personality of his business and his staff, because he's got a really unique way that they do business, and is very in alignment with what we talked about today. So, I'm looking forward to seeing if that actually eventuates. So that's another little thing we could do, is interview your staff.
That's a great innovation. I love that, and really I'm into the innovation part of everything. So I love that. That's a great idea. It's really good.
Yeah. And the thing is, it's by being in action, trying to implement my stuff, is where the ideas actually come about naturally, organically, rather than me sitting down in the drawing room going, how can I make money and what can I do? And it's actually by being in action that the ideas have come up, because it's through the leverage of other people's minds who have studied whatever they've studied. They've got information I don't know about. So together we make that little mastermind, and the ideas kind of germinate naturally, which is what I think a lot of people do when they go to these speaker trainings or whatever. They get their system and now they want to kind of create this thing. Yeah. But what you lack when you do it that way, you lack the nuances that come from being in action yourself, which is actually what's going to differentiate you from everybody else, is what you bring to the table from being in action. So it actually takes, people think they want to go to these things and it's going to, in a year's time, or I'm going to be a super millionaire and Mr. Rockstar. It's not going to happen. What's really going to happen is if you let it percolate over a few years. So for me, it's been 4 years before I got to this point where it's come about, but it's come about because I was trying all these things. So, I think people just need to just kind of pull back a little, relax, and let opportunities that come help create their thing that they're trying to create, as well as taking the action on what they've learned in the system. The system isn't everything. It's what you bring to the system and how you implement the system, which is going to make you stand out from everyone else.
And as part of our overall marketing strategy, I think the platform or the opportunities you offer is a great way for people to actually differentiate themselves from their competitors, as well as be able to visually discuss their unique selling proposition, and the whole host of things in marketing come with what you're doing. So, I think the opportunity is great, and I'm going to encourage everybody to contact you because I think what you do is great. I think it's a great opportunity for businesses to say, well, here's another element I can put forward or supplement other things I'm doing, and it can make a powerful difference because of the way you're approaching things and your experience with asking those questions or framing questions and interviewing people as well. So I think that's great value. Cool, now, I'm going to ask you, if people want to find out more about Peter Montgomery and the Peter Montgomery Show, where would they visit?
Okay, there's a few places. It's very simple. It's thepetermontgomeryshow.com. Montgomery is spelled Montgomery, like Montgomery Burns on The Simpsons. So, thepetermontgomeryshow.com. They can go to my on that page. When they go there, they can either opt in and put your name and email, and you'll get my latest episodes. On that page is a little connection to Facebook, the Peter Montgomery Show Facebook page. So click on that, come over, like the page, and that's pretty much where I'm active, on Facebook and on my show itself. And I've got a YouTube channel, but you can click on any one of my videos that you find around the place. Just type into Peter Montgomery Show into Google, and you'll find a video or something somewhere. You can click on that, and you can subscribe to the YouTube channel as well. The YouTube channel is called Expert Interviews, I think that's what it is. Yeah.
It is. It is.
It is.
And I've watched both some of the interviews through social media, but usually I watch them through YouTube. That way I get a bigger screen to view, and I can pause and do whatever I want. And I just want to say to everyone listening today that what Peter does and the interviews he does has been really great. I've learned a lot by watching your interviews and listening to the people that you talk to and about their business concepts and about how they've approached different things. And the questions you ask, I think, were really good, which is why I really asked you to talk to you, because I'm really putting the foot on the other, the shoe on the other foot, or in this case, the hat on the other head, because I wanted to ask you these things. And now, you've answered really well, and you've come up with some great business strategies and shared the books that you read and how you've inspired where you've started from. So I really appreciate you giving your time up to share this with people. And we've spoken a few times ad hoc over Skype, and it's been great conversation. So I just want to really thank you today for doing that. And is there anything you'd just like to add before we finish up today?
I know it's just it's a pleasure to come on here and speak to you, Geoff, too, because you ask great questions as well, and you got your own great little insights that you put onto things. And I want to recommend that people come and check out your stuff. So you're going to sort of get out there and interview a lot more people as well, and I want to support you with that. So get out there and look at Geoff's stuff as well. I guess what I want to bring to the table is, I've had that situation where I've got my story of devastation where it hit the fan and nothing worked, and you had to sort of pick yourself up and keep going. I just want to say, just keep going. If you found something and it's not quite working out yet, just keep going. Just keep going. You'll figure it out if you keep going, but you're never going to figure it out if you stop.
Oh, there's an opportunity for another interview. Even with that, I can ask a lot of questions around that. But unfortunately, we have to wind it up for today. And maybe we'll talk again in the future. I've got a few things now. From what you've said today, I've got a few things I'd like to ask you as well.
Absolutely, man. Happy to come back.
So thank you very much, Peter. I really appreciate your time and sharing everything you've done today. No doubt we'll talk again. And I know you're in Sydney and I'm up here on the Sunshine Coast. So hopefully we'll get together and share a coffee sometime.
Absolutely, man. I look forward to it.
Okay.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you very much. Bye.